So I've been trying to go live every day, and it is very exciting. I'm enjoying the journey and talking to you guys, and of course learning new things. And something I picked up in the live sessions is some effects you can do live, and learning, and when you think about things and then you're like, and you tried it out and it's worked pretty good. One of the effects I've been doing with ink is the rain effects, and I enjoyed them a lot. I like the results of it. So if you haven't seen the live session, you can join, you can follow, and you can subscribe if you want to. They're pretty enjoyable. We have a good time. So here's how I do it. So I've been drawing all my life. It's always been that way. I remember my mother once brought me a Marvel Fantastic Four comics. After that, I was hooked. I started to draw on the comic, my own characters beside the Fantastic Four, joining in the adventure. Of course, I destroyed these comic books, but I guess that's what kids do, right? I mean, I have a son. As a toddler, he was crazy. You had to have your eyes on him because it can end very badly, very fast. So destroying comics was something I did and don't regret it. From destroying comic books to creating graphic novels. And if you like to draw and if you like storytelling, then you should do it too. It takes a long time. You need to have a lot of patience. Have a hobby, do something that you love and do it all the time. And remember, you always have time for it. There's no blaming your job. There's no blaming. There's always time. When I was married and everybody was asleep, I gave myself half an hour before I slept and draw something, anything. And with that, the graphic novel all of a sudden was finished. So I'm going to show you how I create rain effects when I draw and I ink it in the end. The rain effects is done by inks only. I use pure black, pure white. Of course, you can do all this in Photoshop. I use Photoshop a lot, but mainly for coloring. And that's what I feel comfortable in doing. Inking is always fun to create new effects and play a little bit. It's a good thing if you keep your childish mentality with you during this journey, even when you're an old man or woman. Remember that. I always start with pencil work. I go crazy with pencil work because I'm not sure what I'm going to do exactly, which pose, which stance, which facial expressions. I play around a lot until I kind of see in all this mess where the arm goes, how they will stand and all this. I kind of have a picture in my head if I want it from up, down, or if they're going to have a special pose. But when I figure that out, I'll start to ink. After I've inked the outlines, I'll clean the drawing and then start to erase. So it's good to have a good eraser, a big one. I buy them a lot because I use them a lot. And then when the drawing is clean, I'll start the inking process. The inking process is a lot of fun. You can decide from where the light is going to come. You'll decide where the shadows will be heavy or not, and create some grayscaling in the rendering process. There are different techniques of doing this, and I use the more traditional comic book inking style. But it's effective. It creates like a grayscale kind of a effect. I use different pens. I've said this before, I always choose the cheapest pens, inks I can find, because it's what's in my head that comes to life on paper. It's not which tools I use. So papers and pens, buy the cheapest ones because the creation is created by you and not what you're holding in your hand. Remember that. And I use different sizes of pens because some shadows are heavier than others, take a lot of space, and you can work faster like that, because if you have a thin pen and you want to create a lot of shadows on big areas, then it will take a long time with a small pen. So I have some mega big pens and some mediums and some smalls. I always like to speed it up a bit because I know when I watch stuff, I get a little bit tired fast and then I go on with something else. So I do a lot of time lapses. If one drawing takes a little bit than 1 hour, it's a lot of time for people to spend. Of course, I have my live sessions. They're not sped up. You can see the whole thing if you're interested in that process. This is a splash page for a follow-up graphic novel, and this is the main character Musket. This big android weapon thingy comes at a time when the protagonists are winning. All of a sudden, the tide changes. There is an even bigger threat. It's this weapon. I don't have a name for it yet, but it's an android kind of a weapon. You can't beat it because if you win over it, it will explode and destroy everyone and everything. Kind of dramatic, but it's what I do. So the rain effect is mainly like this. I create with the white ink a rain effect like drops. If you want it intensive, you need to use a lot of this white ink. If you don't want it too much, you just take it easy with it. And of course it's good to have a black background because it's more effective. And then just start inking over the background first and create this massive rain drop effect. And of course on the characters, because the characters have a lot of black in them, a lot of shadowing, that it's heavy black, and you should create rain on them too, because we want the effect of the rain pouring down in front of them and even in the back. So this is the effect we want, the feeling that the rain is pouring down heavy all around. And here's how you should think about it when you're creating effects like this, or playing around and trying new effects. Drawing with inks is always illusions. You should think about it like illusions because you're actually not drawing like a photographic picture. I'm creating an illusion of rain pouring down and hitting these characters. I even do the effect of heavy rain hitting the characters all around them. And you should know from where the rain comes. Sometimes it don't come directly from up. It can come from the sides too. In this one is heavy rain, so it's big splashes on their heads, on their sides or whatever. And when I finish with the white ink, I'll take a even thinner black ink pen and I'll do the same, but only with the white on the drawings. And we have a lot of white on the characters, so we only use the black ink on the white areas on the drawing. Now this gives the effect of the rain hitting all over the place yet again. You can like feel the rain in front of them. You know that you have rain in front of them too, because with the white ink it disappears in the white areas. It's a mixture of playing with white ink and black ink. And this process from start to finish is pretty easy, it's pretty fast. You just need to try it a couple of times before you do them and play around. It's very important, I've said it before, to make mistakes. So start with something, draw something, ink it, and ink the background all black. Play with the white ink, make rain with it, make a splash with it, even on the characters' black shadowy areas. And do the same with the thin black ink, all the white areas only. And of course you should have the same drop falling down from the same angle. So here's the result. This is how it looks. Try this out. It's very exciting. I get excited every time I do this. I've done some Batman, of course, classic superhero rooftop prowling, black and white with a lot of shadows in their face with these rain effects. This is a splash page of the final battle, so I will have the final battle with heavy rains and a lot of lightning and all this dramatic stuff. It should look great when it's a big battle. Now after you try this, do it yet again, and then after that do it again, and then you will see that you will have your own input on this, and it's not a bad thing. I hope to see you next time, and please, if you enjoyed this, follow, subscribe, and come back. And if you want to learn something else, write it in the comments and let's see what we can do about that. So let's see you next time, and take good care of each other.